back to my channel. I'm back with a requested video, and this is going to be a live DIY. I'm pretty sure it's going to go fast enough to be a live DIY. But here's what we're going to do. Don't put away your Easter stuff yet, because I'm going to do like a craft out of time. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I don't know. But we're going to take an egg. This is the big foam glittery egg ornaments that they had this year. And we're going to take one of these size eggs. The medium ones, these ones are the best ones. But if you can't find those, then smaller, bigger, whatever you can find. Then we're going to use 2 black wooden beads that came from the Dollar Tree. We're going to use 2 black wooden beads, the tiniest ones that are in the bag of wooden beads. Then we're going to use scraps. I have this burlap that was a Christmas wine bag. There's also this kind of the burlap on the back of this you could use, or even like the front if you want pretty patterns. We're going to use a little bit of white chamois cloth or microfiber cloth from the car section, and then we're going to use a remnant of a black and white scarf. This was a requested video to make my penguin, and I say my penguin because it's a penguin that I made years ago, and it's sort of, that's why I'm calling it a craft at a time, because it's a penguin and it's April. But I wanted to be able to do it for you guys because quarantine. And you may not have winter craft stuff right now, or you may not know what to do with leftover Easter stuff right now. So there's no rhyme or reason to anything these days. Now, our little penguin normally has skis made out of snowflakes. I know they may be hard, like foam snowflakes. I know they may be hard for people to find right now. So I had a little bit of a different idea. I thought we would give him snowshoes instead. So we're going to use 2 of these carrots. Hopefully you have them. If not, you can make them out of, because the skis were originally snowflakes that were made out of fun foam. So cut up fun foam, foam board, construction paper, whatever you have to put skis on. He doesn't have to have skis on. He could just stand. But he's going to have skis. And he's going to have walking sticks. So if you have skewers, that would be good because they're already pointy. But what we're going to use from the original DIY is some of these wooden dowels from the Dollar Tree. And then I was thinking, my original, he had baby snowflakes for like the little things at the bottom of the skis. What we're going to use for those instead are bottle caps. Now you don't have to use bottle caps. Again, you can make them out of foam. Make them out of fun foam. I collected these bottle caps on one of my trips to Texas. There was a guy there who could open bottle caps without denting them. And I had a lot of fun. So there. So I'm going to use 2 bottle caps for that. And if you're going to use bottle caps, then skewers would be better. But I don't have hands on skewers right now. I could get up and get them, but I just figured it's probably best to just work with what I have at hand here. Okay. Actually, I do kind of have 2 little skewers, but they aren't tools. I use them as tools. Okay, so let's get started really quick. I'm going to point you down, and I think I showed you everything we need. Scissor, plug in your hot glue gun, and if you have a serrated knife that you're willing to use, that would be better to cut foam. But meantime, we're just going to use our handy dandy utility cutter. Don't rip that off. See what I did? I put a big hole in the bottom. It's okay, because that's the bottom of the penguin, but I will show you. So let's tilt you down. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is put down a mat. And the reason we're putting down a mat is because when you cut styrofoam, it often, and I mean this, it often sheds. I feel like the best thing that I want to do is try to get some of this big glitter off, whatever's loose. So I'm just rubbing it with a piece of leftover scraps. It won't affect the fleece, just make it fuzzy. Yep, none of them came off. That's pretty cool. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to find half, and we're really just going to eyeball it. When it comes to your utility knife, if you're going to use it, I like to make it nice and long. But be careful, okay, because you don't want to hurt yourself. Just go slow. Now, when I made this at Homemakers, I absolutely fell in love with it, and then I made one for each of my sisters. Because at Homemakers, the directions were to bring some scrap fabrics for like his scarf and his hat. And what I was able to do was take one of my dad's old shirts. My dad was still alive at the time, but he had like old flannels he was giving away or whatever, or was ripped. And he let me use it. And I was able to use that as a scarf for each of my sisters. I made each of my sisters a penguin with a little bit of my dad's scarf. And of course he had a red hat because my dad was famous for wearing red hats. Before ladies over 50 wore red hats, my dad wore red hats. I don't know when Red Hat Society started, but my dad been wearing a red hat since 1952, I think he said. Or even younger, when he started high school. Okay. So you see how I'm just going slow. I'm trying not to tear up the foam, but if little pieces fall off here and there, it's okay, as long as the major egg shape is intact. And we're just going to work it out a little bit, and eventually it'll just crack right in half. And the fact that that's not 100% even is fine, and I'll show you why. But we're just going to give it a little self-sanding, and that's to get all the loose pieces away. Now, before we put our mat away, we're also going to cut our foam egg. But I want to get most of that off. Now, these eggs I thought were the best of the foam sizes out of all of the eggs that they had at the Dollar Tree this year. Now, one thing I will tell you, I mentioned all of the styrofoam, not styrofoam, I mentioned all of the burlap fabrics that we could use, but the original had a piece of orange felt. Now, Dollar Tree doesn't have orange in its felts. It only has orange, like if you can find like some random fabric from like a random holiday or something, you might be able to find. But I've never been able, like the old, like maybe you might be able to find an orange scarf or an orange hat. But yeah, not me. So because they don't sell black fleece and I like everything black and white check, we're going to go ahead and make him a farmhouse penguin. That's right, you heard that right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to put our egg cut side up, and we're going to just hug it all over, and you're going to see all of that you get to cut off. So I like to hold it, grab my scissor. You need to have some fold over, and if you feel not confident about it, you really could glue it first, but I'm just going to make a pretty big oval. I want to make sure I cut off the fringe. So it kind of looks like it's going, I don't know. You know what I can do? Let me do that for you guys who like measurements. Let me cut it out, and then I'll get a ruler. I'll cut it out and get a ruler. See, because it's going to depend on how you cut your egg and what size egg you start with. But you want to make it like a few inches outside of your egg shape, because you want it to be able to fold it in, and we're going to glue it. We're going to cover this egg and we're going to glue it. Now, when I purchased these eggs, I told you guys that I was buying the yellow one because I wanted to use it for a DIY, because this egg penguin was a request quite a while ago. But if you don't get yellow, or if you mind, if that bothers you that it's a little yellow coming through the white, then go ahead and paint your egg first. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to glue it down along the edge. Now be careful, of course, hot glue and all the things. But just like when we're covering a chair, making a slip cover for something, covering something in fabric. Oh, my box fell over. Sorry. Give me 1 second. You want to go opposite sides, just a little bit on opposite sides. And now we want to do opposite sides again. And this way it just doesn't end up being bunched up. So sometimes when you can like work around, you may end up twisting your fabric up, and then you will run out of room at the high points. I know that sounds weird. Am I making sense? But if we just started like here and then just kept going, we might end up twisting the fabric out of place. So then what you want to do is you have your four corners pinched. You want to go down on the right side, which this is the right side. And you want to smooth it out, and then you're going to glue this down. You're going to glue all of this down. I like to glue in the pleats too, so that all of the fabric stays down. Now we are going to sandwich all of these seams between the two halves, so that's not a huge deal if you worry about like the bumps or whatever. So Here's another way to do it. You can take your glue and do this, and then you can fold it over as you go and just stick it down like that as well, okay? Now, of course, my original penguin had black fleece. They don't sell black fleece at the Dollar Tree as of yet. They do have black felt. I have been not able to find any of their rolled felts that they sell at the Dollar Tree. But, you know, if you have that, obviously, go for it. I do have some orange felt that I got last year from Hobby Lobby for all the Luna's baby birthday party things. All the rainbow stuff that we made for Luna's birthday party. Guess what I forgot to get ready? Glue sticks. Let me just stop for a second and get some glue sticks going. Okay, so then we're just going to rub our hand. There's no glue under here, so be careful. You know, you just have to be careful when you get there. And then you just want to smooth it out. And all of this is okay here because it's going to be sandwiched. Now, do you see it's like a little twisted? That doesn't bother me, but if that bothers you, pay attention to how you line it up, okay? Now, for the next piece, let me grab some glue sticks. They're here. I just don't have to go far or whatever, but let's grab some glue sticks and put them in the glue stick holder. We're going to use that car chamois piece. Now, some of them are two-sided. This is really fuzzy on this side and not so fuzzy on this side. I'm going to use the not so fuzzy side for the penguin's belly, because I want it to be more like fleece. Now this half two, we're going to cut, oh, I did leave them out. We're going to cut it just a little bit bigger than the actual egg. And for the car fleece, if you're on an edge, I'm definitely going to cut the edge off, just so it's going to create less bulk if we cut the edge off is all, okay? There's like a seam on the chamois, okay. Put that back in the scraps. So I mentioned that this was a sentimental craft that I made a penguin for each of my sisters with my dad's material. But if you have, like, you know, maybe you have a grandpa or something that passed away recently and you want to try to remember them, put like a little bit of heirloom, something, you know, obviously you can go ahead and do that. And then, okay. The other reason we do just the 4 points is because if, God forbid, I move it, and then, you know, we don't have enough to go all the way around because I misaligned it or something, then you're like, oh no. See, like that. That's kind of tight right there. But it still will work. So we're going to leave it. Okay, then we're going to work on our corners again. Now remember, styrofoam and hot glue can sometimes have, you know, styrofoam can get sometimes melt under hot glue, but where we're gluing it, it's going to be hidden, okay? Now, if you didn't get any of these eggs and you do want to do this project, don't forget that all the craft stores, well, most of the craft stores, Walmart and stuff, they sell foam eggs as part of their regular foam shapes. Like usually there's eggs with all of their foam circles all the time. Michael's for sure, because when we made this, it was not Easter time. It was the winter time. Okay. Oh, he came off. He came off. He got unglued right there. Might not have waited long enough. Oh my goodness. I have a lot of changes that have to be made here. One of the projects that we didn't get to, or we didn't finish my office, and this isn't, again, not complaining, guys. We didn't finish my office, is we were going to move a surge protector to a better location so I can keep the Cricut plugged in and my hot glue gun. So for right now, my hot glue gun is at my right, and the cord goes all the way around the back of the camera and plugs in over there. Obviously, I don't want it to be draping through through the scene while you're watching. And but it just makes it really short. Sorry, something stuck. There we go. It makes it really, like, I have a really short cord, and that makes, like, you know, a little bit more difficult. It brings the difficulty factor up a bit. Okay. Okay. So now glue all that down, hold that down. Okay. Now I'm going to set these two aside for, well, actually I have to just put them together. Let me put them together for a quick second. Now I'll show you. There's a lot of bulk in there. Okay? I probably should have switched them around because it looks a little bit like they made this egg bigger. If you get a bigger half, that should be the back. What I was looking at was that this part was bulky, but that's okay. It's really not a huge deal. We'll just make a really fat penguin. You can go ahead and glue these together now if you want. And this one's going to take a mess of hot glue. So get a new glue stick ready. I would suggest keeping it on high temp if you have that option, so it doesn't cool off before you can get your halves together. And you don't want it to show, so be careful when you glue. Like I just messed up there for a second, and then you can see glue up here. Just hold them together really well. I'm going to get a rubber band. I suggest a rubber band works really well. This is like the world's biggest rubber band. It's going to take me 20 years to wrap it around the penguin to hold it together. Okay. Okay, so now let's set that aside for a second. What I want to do is I want to take 2 carrots. I want to cut off their, the green part, what would be the leafy part. Dude, where did you come from? Okay. I'm going to use my utility knife again, and we're just going to pretend that that carrot's just curved all the way around here. Okay? And we're just going to do that again, try to get in the same groove. I'm trying to do it slowly as to not like, there we go, accidentally wreck it. So then I'm going to go around the back and I'm going to cut that same curve a couple of times. Hopefully be in the same area, roughly be in the same location. There we go. So I kind of feel like those look a little bit like snowshoes. They probably don't. They look like carrots, but hey, what are you going to do? Use your imagination. But like I said, the snowflakes were cute. So they were like the fun foam snowflakes that they sell, the Dollar Tree ones. I got a pack at Michael's because I don't even know if you guys, some of you guys might not even be old enough, or maybe weren't even crafting long enough. But Michael's used to have all of these instruction papers that they always put by the things that they would sell. So like when you went by the teddy bears, oh look, crowns. When you went by the teddy bears, they showed you like different DIYs that you could do with the teddy bear clothes. And when you went by the foam eggs, they showed you different things you could do with the foam eggs. You know what I mean? And they gave you, that's where a lot of the teachers in my Homemaker's Craft got their ideas from. Okay. That's a little, there we go. So I'm going to take I feel like I want to take a Sharpie, but then I might want to take a, you know what? I'm not going to take a Sharpie. Let's get the brown wax out. Is that it? Antique wax in brown. And I'm going to take one of these little tiny paintbrushes. And I'm going to go around the edge like this. Make it brown, like so it matches all the way around. If you've not seen the Dollar Tree eggs, they have this like brown edge. And when you cut it, it's not. So I'm just going to make that match, which isn't a huge deal. Let's do that with both of them. Careful when you rub your finger on it. Obviously, you could get a splinter, so be mindful. That's why we sanded it first, but still be mindful. And then what I'm going to do is, if you've never seen snowshoes, they almost look like they have, like they're a tennis racket. So I'm going to make a really weird looking tennis racket lace-up thing. Now, remember, the penguin's foot's going to be on here, so you don't have to be perfect. It's just to give an indication of what they might be. You know, make them look like they might be snowshoes. That's all. And I think I want to make the outside stained wood, which is all of this. So first I'm going to, look how not neat that is. People are like, oh, you paint so well. Sometimes it's just really about giving an impression of how you want something to look. If you ever looked at like some cartoonists and you actually looked at like the shapes, you're like, how did that all of a sudden, you know, why did that look like that? Because it's an impression. It's an impression of what it is. So if you give the minimal amount of illusion that these are snowshoes, then you're going to get that maximum impression that they're snowshoes. If that makes any sense. Now I'm just going to use a bigger brush to go along the edge there. Put my sanding piece back and get a little bit, yeah, that one's good. Just a little bit bigger of a brush and just go along the edges of that to make it look like snowshoes. And this will dry really fast, this wax. So I want to make sure that I get it done before I do the feet, because we're going to glue the feet on to here when we're done. Let's see. And if you want, you can stain the pole, and I mean the pole, you know, the dowels we're going to use for ski poles. I guess when you're using snowshoes, are they still walking poles? Maybe they're not ski poles. Maybe they have a different name. Walking sticks. Snow walking sticks. Okay, let me just get my finger here out of the big clusters, and don't move your finger. See the finger that's holding the thing? That is actually on some semi-wet paint. And if I move it, I'm going to transfer those brown lines to another area. Okay. Now, if you can see it in the light, I don't even know if you guys can see it in the light like I can see it in the light. But if you can see it in the light, you can see that whether or not you have an even coat or where there's big globs of paint or something. So I think this is cute. It's coming out so cute. Oh, what's that? What's that funkiness? Hold on. We got some funkiness happening right here. There was a big glob of the wax. Okay. Okay. So I was curious. I wanted to ask you guys who's watching what. I wanted to do this over a live, but my support system's not here today, so I wanted to do it for you for tomorrow. So I was going to ask you guys, like, are you crafting? I know some of you are, and some of you have shared with me over social media that what you're doing and what you're using. But I thought this would be fun. This is sort of like, I know Christmas in July is a thing, and I know we did Christmas in July once or twice before, but this is more, to me, is like winter and spring. It's like the seasonal version of Christmas in July. There we go. Okay, and now let's just spread that around. Okay, so now we're going to put these guys aside. So now if you have orange felt, this is your opportunity to take the orange felt to cover the feet. And you're also going to need a piece of orange felt for the beak. But since we don't have orange felt, we're going to go ahead and you're going to use this burlap. Now this particular, I'm going to set these aside so not to get them wet. This particular burlap has like a plastic lining on it because it's supposed to make it waterproof for carrying wine. But I'm just going to cut, I think that this might be enough, to be honest with you. Just everything above this seam might be enough for both halves of an egg. Now the plastic does come off. See that? Just hold and do gently so you don't undo your burlap. Okay, I think that might be enough. Now you're definitely going to have some sort of protection for your fingers because this is burlap. Let me see. I don't actually know that that is going to be enough. Hold on a second. That might not be enough burlap. So we'll cover one with this. Let's see. Okay. Okay, let's get the sides in. Just make sure it's even on the sides there. Okay. So I found my spatula when we were cleaning. Jim didn't throw it in the garbage. He actually put it to be washed in the kitchen. Like he thought it was a kitchen spatula that I had in the office. That's all right. I appreciate that help. Whatever he's trying to do to help, I appreciate everything he does. Sometimes it makes, you know, work twice as hard, but I still appreciate that he does it because lots of husbands don't. Or partners or whatever. You guys know what I mean. I'm just going to cut this one off here as to not have too much bulk, as we mentioned before. Okay. Now, when we made the orange felt, they were on skis, and the skis were holey. These skis were made out of snowflakes, so the snowflakes were holey. So what we ended up doing was, after we were done covering it, so I'm telling you this in case you make just regular penguin feet and you don't make him on skis or anything, is we ended up covering the bottom with a solid piece. So after it was all done, we took and we measured a solid piece and then cut it to cover all of this mess on the bottom. But if you're going to put them on skis or snowshoes in this case, you don't have to worry about that at all. Okay? Okay, that messed up a little bit, but that's okay. Let me get my scissor in there and pull on that fabric a little bit. There we go. Just work that out. Get a little glue under there and work that bad boy out. Okay. So I don't know. I feel like somebody asked me how Aunt Sue was doing. She is doing okay. I talked to her yesterday. She's able to, you know, she's got her mask. Her friend from, I feel like her friend who helps her with household chores, who lives there in the city, is like a homemaker sort of thing. She sewed masks, and she gave one to Aunt Sue, and Aunt Sue was able to go out to Deerberg's, which is the grocery store that she loves there by her house, and she was able to get food and toilet paper, fresh fruits and vegetables and stuff, all the things that she needed. So I was really happy about that. She said they only let you take one roll of toilet paper. And I'm like, well, I kind of like understand it in a way because people will be hoarding. But when you can only buy one roll of toilet paper, you have to go back to the store more often, which isn't good. So I guess I understand it though. So for this one, we're going to cut off the extra fabric. And we're not going to glue him to his snowshoes because we're going to put him on his body first. So let's do another one real quick. Well, as quick as we can. And we're going to cut off the top of the other side of the bag. Oh, that's plastic is coming right off. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that? Can you guys see? Okay. I never know what you can see because it's all about angles and... Okay. Oop, oop, oop. What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you not to do? Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. I can cut this off now because I know it's extra. All right. This one was a little jacked up before to begin with. Okay. Now we're going to cover the other half of his foot or his other foot. So now this piece of burlap is kind of jacked up, so I'm going to have to be careful. See it? It's kind of like really frayed over here. Now, some people said that they have those hot fingers. I'm curious how they work. I have them and I've never tried them. And the reason I never tried them, I got them because glue like this. But what I realized is I already have difficulty feeling what I'm doing, like manipulating the fabric and stuff. So I just feel like I would already lose sensation of touch. Now, I guess when you're touching hot glue, that's the whole purpose. But when you're trying to, like, you know, hold, grab quick, grab tight, that kind of stuff, that's the part that I'm so fearful of losing. So I have them, and I know that a lot of people have recommended them. So I was curious if you guys have them, how many of you actually use them. Okay. Okay. Now I put the hot glue gun back on low because, like I said before, it could melt the foam. So you want to make sure you try to work it on low. So here's what I mentioned before about if you're going to use a snowflake for the skis, like the original project, then you just take your thing and you put it on to a piece of fabric like this, and then you can cut around it. Let me just show you how to do that really quick, even though I'm only going to do it to one. I forgot it was burlap. And then you're going to cut around very carefully, because you don't want to cut the sides of your egg. And then you created like a cleaner foot bottom. That's all. That's what that's for. So if you're going to just not put him on skis or something, then you want to make a bottom to his foot. Okay? So the next thing, I did mention we were going to stain his ski poles, but I don't think we're going to. So the next thing you want to do is you want to take your 2 bottle caps, and I'm going to use just my tiny scissor. You can use a really anything, and I'm just going to push down with my hand as I twist and turn. That's all I'm doing. And then once I get it in my hand, this part's going to be a little more difficult for some, is you just want to make the hole big enough to accommodate the pole. I will tell you though, that hurts. Okay. Yeah, just protect your hand as you're working. Okay, let's see. It's still not big enough. You can mark on your scissor like how big, how wide you need it to be. So if I took this and I marked on my scissor, I could go like on the scissor, then I could mark, then I could mark right here where the scissor, where I finally don't see the dowel. And that's how far I'm gonna have to drill down till that part's exposed. If that makes any sense, hopefully it does. Okay, now this is the part, be careful, because you can't go into your hand because then you'll stab yourself. And don't stab yourself. Again, I'm just using the piece of fleece to protect my hands from the bottle cap. Of course, if you have a drill or a Dremel and you're very comfortable with using it, go ahead and do that. You'll see we're almost there. And we don't want it to be exact perfect size. Well, you could glue it, but I was thinking we would make it tight. So we're getting there. If you're comfortable using your drill or your Dremel, you can go ahead and do that. Just be careful because they will be metal shavings. Don't forget. And protect your work surface because you're going to be drilling past that hole. So you want to be careful. Okay, I think we have it. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to take my needle nose, and I'm going to grab the dowel, and I'm going to grab the bottle cap, and I'm just going to twist it in just so that the pole part sticks out a little bit past the bottle cap. If you've ever seen a ski pole, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So anybody who's not seen a ski pole, look up ski pole. But they have the part, see, like this is supposed to keep your ski pole from going all the way in the ground, in the snow, but you need a little bit of it to stick in the snow. So it's going to look a little like that. And we're going to do the same with the other one. Okie dokie. All right, so let's do a tiny bit of a cleanup here. Let's put this back, put this back, let's put this. Okay, so we're gonna need another, this should be all set up, nice and tight. Yep, okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is put his feet on, or should we put his wings on? What do you think? Let's do wings. Now, if you guys don't know, fleece does not need to be edged. I'm sure you do. We worked with it so much before that I'm sure you know it doesn't need to be edged. But I will show you something. This carrot is totally, well, it's not totally dry. How about this one? Yeah, so this carrot is dry. This carrot happens to be like the perfect wing. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of the fleece. Actually, you know what? I'm not waste it, obviously, but I want his wing to be primarily black. Let me see. Well, this carrot. Yeah, I'm gonna make his wing primarily black. So let's fold it in half here, line up the 2 black lines, and then cut them both out at the same time. So we're gonna line up the 2 black lines so we have it to be the same pattern front and back. And I think that would make a nicer penguin wing. Even though our penguin is buffalo check. Hey, it's 2019. It's 2020. So I almost said it was 2019. It's 2020. Buffalo check penguins. That's the way to go, right? For a little farmhouse guy with a little burlap feet. A little burlap bill. Okay. I think I might have messed up. I moved the fabric. And the one wing is a little shorter. Let's see if we can't fix it. Let's fix it. And we'll curve it on that end. Okay. Oh, it could be like Nemo. Oh, he could be like Nemo with the one short little flipper. That would be cute. His pectoral fins. Okay. Now we can put his little wings on. Now the only trick I have with the wings, my teacher taught me, is we're going to glue them what looks like upside down, and then we're going to flap them over so they look like they're really attached to his body. You can put them all the way on the back if you want to, but I like them in the middle, okay? I know it doesn't make sense being in the middle, but that's how I like them. And of course you want to make sure that upside down, meaning you're going to make him look like his arms are raised, so that's his head, that's the top, because you want him to have a fat bottom, right? Fat bottom penguins. And then right around a little bit above midline, I'm going to put a line of glue, and we're going to glue this wing up. And I think I'm going to put a little bit towards the back. I think he needs a little bit more glue around his edge here. Okay, I'm going to let it, did we glue all the way? I think the edge needs it right here a little bit. Let's see, his shoulder. This will be his shoulder. And then it'll flop over like that. See how it like wants to stand out now like it's a penguin wing and not just a piece of fabric. Okay. Now we want to try to find the same line around. You can get a rubber band. You can look, if you kept your stripes straight, all of those things will help you when it's time. we're going to do right here. And again, a little bit more towards the back than the front. And we're going to make it reach for the sky. Let's see, I think he looks about even. So what? He's cute. Okay. Okay. Oh, he's coming together. So now we're going to give him his feet. So we'll make sure the eggs, pointy part of the eggs are facing his front. Okay, and then we're going to glue them here. But he's actually going to stand on them. So let's see. I think this egg is backwards. Oh well. And we're going to stand him here. And then I'm going to flip him over so you guys can see. Now, it's okay that he's not balanced if you're going to put skis or snowshoes on him, because then he'll be balanced later. But if you're going to make him, just on his own, you want to make sure he's balanced. So you want to take the time to lean him forward, push his feet back a little bit, put his feet together a little bit more. All the things that will help him be more balanced. Okay. See? Okay. Now, this is where we're going to balance him. Now that he has on snowshoes. The other thing is too, because one of his feet aren't flat feet, remember? So now that he has snowshoes, we're going to put him on there and he's going to be balanced on his snowshoes, okay? So we're going to put a butt load of hot glue on this one, and then a butt load of hot glue on this one. And then make sure that they're evenly spaced. And we're going to put him down on his snowshoes. And I'll flip him over so you guys can see exactly where he was. Okay. Okay. So one more thing that's going to help him be balanced is his ski poles. Okay, because they're going to give him some balance too. So keep that in mind. So now before we go ahead and put his ski poles on, because then he'll be difficult to work with, are we going to create a hat and a face? So the first thing for the face is we're going to need his eyes. Wow. For his eyes, we're just going to use 2 tiny little black beads. Now these beads have a hole in them. I'm putting the hole up and down. So his eye looks like it just fits straight across. And they're going to go almost across from his arms. Just a tiny bit above that. And one over each foot. But then this is a matter of personal preference too. Here's what it looks like. Let me just try to balance them so I could show you. This is what it looks like when I just position them the way I want to position them. And his little mouth will go here. You want them lower? He looks really cute like that too. Can you guys see? He will look really cute like that as well. But we have to have room for his mouth. I think that's cute. Then we'll put his hat up on here. And that's another thing. I guess I feel like with the one, like the romantic boho chic sort of wreath that we did, it was like it won't come together till the end. I feel like that about his face. You're like, oh my gosh, why are his eyes in the middle of his head? But not until he gets his mouth and his hat on. Look, I just totally messed that up. Don't work and talk on YouTube at the same time, guys, okay? I should have done this to begin with. I did. I totally did. Okay. Oh, wow. I really screwed the pooch right now. And his eye turned. It's hard to work when you're trying to do it on YouTube. Not just DIYing, you're DIYing on television. With the camera. Okay. Let's get his little bill. What are we going to do for a little bill? I was just going to use a piece of the scrap burlap. Did I throw it out? No, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where's all that scrap burlap? I did throw it out. Adoy. So his little bill is actually sort of fold a piece of fabric in half, and you're going to cut a triangle with the long part being the fold. So you're going to cut up like this. You flip it over. You're going to cut up like that. And I just need to get this stuff out of the way really quick because that's extra. It's all stuck in. Okay, let's try that again. You need it to be little. And we're going to cut a little triangle up like that. And then up like that. And this little guy's going to have apparently a mustache. No, he's not. He's got all this little burlap pieces. I don't recommend burlap. Buy yourself some felt. I know the Dollar Tree doesn't have felt. So we're taking our scissor. You don't have to get crazy and use your cutting knife or whatever. But we're just going to take our scissor and we're just going to create an indent. And you can see I'm keeping my scissor closed, or at least I was trying to. And we're just going to poke an indent in there for his mouth. Okay, and then we're going to add a little hot glue. And then we're going to take the same scissor. We're going to put it in the middle of the bill. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Let's put it on there first. And then we're going to put it in the middle of the bill and push down. Another reason not to use burlap. Oh my God, he's like jacked up. This poor little guy. He's seen better days. His brother is like, what is happening? Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's add a little pressure there. That's why we were going to use our scissor to push his little beak in. And by pushing his beak in while it's drying, what we're doing is we're creating like an actual mouth opening and not just a little piece of burlap flattened down there. But if you want to open that up and put a tiny rub of hot glue down, you can keep his mouth kind of closed a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I don't like him. No offense. I mean, you guys might think he's really cute. But my other one is cuter because my other one, I was able to use felt. Okay. Now, before his hat, we're going to take the ski poles and we're just going to wrap his little mitts around there. So, I've never used ski poles. I've never gone skiing. I'm just guessing where they should be, his little hands should be. Okay. And do that to the other side. Okay. Man alive. I really like made him look like the poor little guy's handicapped. He's handy capable. There we go. Okay. And now we were going to make a hat. You can make his hat out of the baby blanket if you want him to have a really cute little gray hat. Or you can make his hat out of the red plaid, which is what I thought we saved. Aw, really? I thought we took a little red plaid out to make his hat red. All right, so let's make a gray hat. What you want to do is you want to take your penguin, whatever size he is, and you want to measure from his face to the top of his head. Right? So I put it right. Sorry. Let's flip him over. There you go. You want to take him and you want to make cover his face, fold it over right to his eyes. And then you want to just make where it meets at the top, pinch it, and then fold it in half. And that's the minimum amount you want. Now, if you want to make a tassel at the top of your hat, then you go ahead and you make it a little bit bigger, however you want your tassel to be. So for this particular penguin, I'm going to make 1, 2. So we're going to do 2 grays and 2 dark grays and 2 light grays row, 2 light gray rows. And you want it to be as long as you want. You have to wrap it around his head plus a little bit for gluing. This is way more than I need, but I'm just going to keep cutting it so my scraps aren't messed up. Okay. I'm glad you guys love me. Sometimes I'm not too crazy about myself. It happens. It happens. Okay. So we're going to fold the flap in. I like to make my fold first. We're going to make this hat right side out, or I mean inside out, excuse me. So we're going to take him, going to fold his little face there, wrap it around his head. Let's just move him over so that the end doesn't get wasted. Wrap it around his head, his little head there. And then we're going to glue it down here. Okay. So we just want to make sure we glue it down here. Having a hat that's like too big isn't going to be the end of the world. It really isn't, because you can always adjust it with the you can always adjust it with the tassel. You can always make it a little bit better with the tassel. Okay. But like I said, I like to fold the fold in before I glue. I'm actually going to cut, I can't cut that off because that's where I glued. Just going to let it really, really firm up. I'm also gluing inside the flaps so that they stay glue closed. Okay. Did I leave? Yeah, I did leave room. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to cut the seam off, so it's not bulk into there. Okay. Make sure I didn't cut all the glue off. Still glued? All right. Now I'm going to turn it right sides out. The little seam is in there. This is also how you can make a grown-up size hat, by the way. Like, again, fleece doesn't require serging because fleece doesn't require serging because it doesn't fray. Okay? So you don't have to sew it or anything. Oh, look how cute. The hat is so tight. How did I do that? You guys, weren't you watching me? The good news is fleece stretches out a little bit. Let's get some stretching going on here. How did that even happen? I don't even understand. Like, what's the point of showing you how to do all that measuring so I can mess it up and cut his hat too short? Okay. Okay, there you go. Then you want to take all of his top portion and you want to gather it up. Now you could do a rubber band, you could do a string. But what I like to do is actually take a piece of the fleece so it coordinates. Now this fleece is going to stretch, I'll tell you that much. Take the piece of the fleece in. Tie it tight, but then you can go ahead and adjust all of your pom-pom before you make it super tight, okay? Oh, my Lanza. Oh my gosh, he looks so cute. His hat just went crooked and I was like, aw, like I fell in love. Now, if you're going to put a scarf on, you don't want his hat to sit that low anyway. Well, the scarf can go under his arms. I think mine looks like the scarf is under his arms, but now what I did for mine, or one of them from my sisters or whatever, is I cut this around, make it a little shorter. And I fringed the pom-pom. Well, basically I made a pom-pom. So I just went in a bunch of times and cut up a bunch of times. You could do this before you tie it and roll it. That's fine, if that's easier for you. For me, I don't care. For me, I just went in and I fringed it up. And then you're able to like trim it down if you want to when it's all done. Make a little pom-pom. Make a little pom-pom. Make a little pom. I think part 2 of doing live DIYs is because I really feel like I'm rushing sometimes and I mess myself up because I'm trying to hurry and not be an hour long, which kind of isn't fair. When you craft at home, you don't rush, do you? I mean, maybe if you have to get dinner on the stove or something, but you take your time. Let me cut this little, there we go. That was the piece that we used to tie. Okay. There we go. Let's try this again, shall we? We're just going to go in and snip down all of the fringe. People ask me all the time about starting a YouTube channel. And one of the very, very reasons, the secondary reason, the primary reason that I get on the defensive when people are not nice in the comments is because I am fearful that so many of you don't have the same thick skin I do, or whatever you want to say. Patience for people. Sometimes people are like, you have so much patience. You have such grace. No, just learned. Some of you don't, and some of you are new to being plus size and haven't dealt with it your whole life, and haven't really heard it all and haven't really done it all. And I want to be there for you. I want to be there to stand up for you because you don't know how to stand up for yourself yet. And I'm trying to teach you that you can stand up for yourself and not be mean and not be confrontational. And that sometimes gets lost. So see how cute that is? Sometimes that gets lost on people, is that you feel like you have to be, mean and rough and that kind of thing. And you don't. You just don't. Let's give him a little scarf and then we'll be all done. Let's see. So now here's the opportunity to take your grandpa's favorite shirt, or you can use Dollar Tree ribbon, Dollar Tree fabric, Walmart fabric. Do we want to add any color? Do we want to make him a black and white scarf? Black and white scarf would be kind of cute. I don't think that one's going to go all the way around though. Excuse me. But what we could do, let me show you guys how to cheat up a scrap. So this one is actually cute because it's frayed on both ends. This is a Walmart fabric, I think. It was $1.97 a yard, but I think somebody told me recently that their $1.97s have gone up. So keep that in mind. So we're going to cut just 2 strips, the same pattern. So I personally am putting the dark gray on the outside of the top and bottom, which was a waste of fabric. I probably should have done white on one and top and brown on the other. I'm black on the other. And I like this one because it's kind of fringed at the end, so you don't have to do anything to it. We're just going to cheat it. We're going to sew glue it in the middle and make a nice long piece of scarf. Okay, let's get the 2 pieces that are good. Get the rest of the pieces that aren't out of the way. And where's the pretty ends? There's the pretty ends together. So we're just going to glue put a little glue down there. Man, my glue's a mess. And we're going to glue the light colors together. Like colors together. And then we're going to cut through one of the light colors stripes. Hopefully the glue is on the inside there. We didn't just cut all the glue off. No, there we go. And then when you open it up, you're like, hey, look, it's a scarf. Okay, so let's do the scarf. We're going to do it under his hat. Let me show you. Well, actually, let me show you guys. Let's do it under his arms. Oop. Let's do it under his arms. Show you how it looks under his head. Oh, look, it's still not long enough. That's funny. I didn't expect it to not be long enough. Oh. Professional. Lost his hat. She's such a professional. He looks like he's wearing a sarong. How about we just leave the scarf off? Can I just tell you, I feel so lost of what this penguin looked like before. Now, I thought I had it in my head what he was looking like, and now I'm not so sure. I feel like maybe his face was higher, maybe his arms were lower. No, I think the scarf goes over his arms and under his face, but I don't remember gluing it. It has been 10 years since I made it. So I feel like it goes over his arms and under his face. Let me just see how that looks. That to me looks like that could possibly be it. Over his arms and under his face. So if you're going to make a scarf, that's what you want to do. You want to make it go over his arms and under his face. But I'm not going to put the scarf on him. I think he's just going to leave his cute little hat on. He's going to be jaunty. His hat is going to sit up there. Now his hat will, you can pull it down tight. I like it at a little bit of at an angle. But his hat is going to stick pretty well unless somebody pulls it off, because fleece usually sticks to fleece pretty well for the most part. I really wish I didn't mess his eyes up, but hey, what are you going to do? Anyway. Oh, there we go. I was like, his poor arms. So now you can see how he's balanced with his little ski poles. Hold on, let me take you down. Hi. So you see how he's balanced with his little ski. Don't mind the mess. Isn't he cute? I mean, he is cute. He really is. Considering, all things considered. So that's it. How do we do? Yeah, it's an hour. I think he's cute. He's going for a little walk. And I kind of think it's semi-appropriate because some states had snow. I saw it on all the social medias that some people woke up to snow yesterday. But I think he's cute. And he's done with all Dollar Tree products except the bottle caps. But sometimes they do sell glass bottled sodas at Dollar Tree as like a special promo. Dollar Cokes in the cold case and stuff. So I guess technically that could be too. But otherwise, I think he's super cute and jaunty. He's festive. You can also paint your bottle caps, but, you know, Bud Lime, that works for me. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial, this fun live chat with me while I craft. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Thank you for spending your Saturday with me or whatever day you're watching this. And as always, you guys take care. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.